Now that you have a good understanding of Git and GitHub, let's go and set up our local development environment with the portfolio template so that we can start building our portfolio. We'll start with this template. This is a GitHub repository containing the template for the portfolio website that we've created. It has got the homepage layout, it's got a project page, and it's got the different pages that you'll need to set up your personal portfolio. Of course, you can go and customize this however you like, but we'll start from this and we'll learn how to add content to that and customize it later on. We can go to this page, sign into our GitHub account, and then click this button, use this template, and this will prompt us to create a new repository. Let's go and do it. Git repository is like a folder. So you'll want to create a different repository for different projects. I typically have a different repository for different course materials. If I'm working on building an app, that goes in a separate repository and so on. There is no kind of strict naming convention, but you would want to avoid spaces. The repository can have dashes if you want, or underscore if you want. So for example, I could name my repository is my portfolio. So that works as well. And the repository will be available at github.com/the username/my portfolio. There is a special repository name that is reserved for the personal website of the user profile. So each user profile has a special repository that is meant to host your personal website. If you, for example, post this repository at this URL, the final website that will be created from this will have a URL, which is your username.github.io/my-portfolio. But if I have this special name, which is my username.github.io, final repository, the final website that will be hosted from this repository will be available at this root URL. And this is a special reserved name for the website for that account. And since it's kind of meant to have a personal website, this makes a perfect choice for our personal portfolio. So we'll use this name. Make sure the name is spelled exactly like this. It should be your username. It should match exactly what is displayed here, .github.io. And once you're done, let's click Create Repository. So my repository is now created. We can go and click on this button, Code, and it shows us different URLs to copy to my local system. And this works for every repository. If you go and find a repository where somebody has shared with some code or data and you want to get it on your system, you can just click on Code. The easiest option to get the code is via this HTTPS URL. So we can copy this. If you're using GitHub a lot, I recommend you set up SSH on a system. That makes it quite easy and secure to copy and upload data to GitHub. But this is quite involved setup. So we're going to stick with HTTPS, which is also secure, but it's a little inconvenient compared to SSH. So we'll later on you can set up SSH, but right now we're going to use the HTTPS URL here. You can also download this as a zip. This works great for some data repositories where somebody has shared some data or some files that you just want to download it. You can download everything as a zip file. Since we're going to be working with this as a Git repository and we're going to be updating this from command line, we're going to use the clone HTTPS URL. So I'm going to just copy this one. Now we want to open our editor. We're going to be using Visual Studio Code. So you can open it up. I'm on a Mac, so I'm just going to open the application folder and go and open Visual Studio Code from here. VS Code is happiest when it's working out of a folder. We want to copy the repository to a specific folder on a computer. So let's just open that folder and then we can work within that folder to clone the repository. Here, we're going to go to File and say Open Folder. And for now, I'm going to just work on the desktop. So I'm going to say I'm going to clone my repository on desktop here. So I've opened the desktop and now I can clone my repository. To clone the repository, we need to run some Git commands. So we're going to open a terminal. So I'm going to go to Terminal and open a new terminal here. This opens your system terminal in VS Code. On Mac, this will be your terminal. Linux will be your default terminal that comes with your Linux flavor. On Windows, this will be the PowerShell prompt. And some users, if you have not used PowerShell or there are some settings, you may get some error the first time you open this. We have given you a command to run this if you face this error. So if you see on a course material, if you get an error when you first time open the terminal, go and run this command Once you run it, restart the terminal and the error should go away. This essentially says that by default, you are not able to run certain scripts in the terminal environment within VS Code. It just fixes that and gives you the permission to do so. Once we open the terminal, we want to clone the GitHub repository. The command to do this will be git space clone. And then the URL that we have copied from our portfolio repository, I'm going to go there again. You can see this is the URL that we had copied, and we can now just say git clone this and press enter. You see that now Git has copied all the content from this repository into a new folder here. And that folder is seen here. This is the portfolio template that we have. Right now in the terminal, we are on the desktop. It'll be good to just go inside the repository. So I'm going to type cd, which is the command for changing directories. This is the same command on Windows or Mac or Linux. So we can say cd and then type the name of our folder. So I'm going to type first few letters of the repository and press tab to autocomplete and press enter. So now the terminal is also inside of this folder. We have all the files here, and then we can edit and work with this repository from our editor. The website will be built from the content that we edit here. To be able to preview that, we need to install the system that we are using. We're using the static site generator called mkdocs. So we want to install that. That mkdocs is written in Python, so that comes in as a Python package. So we want to install the Python package so we can run those mkdocs commands and preview our site. Good practice is always to install Python packages in their own environment. In this workshop, we are using Conda for managing the Python environments. You should already have installed Conda, and if the Conda is installed and activated successfully, you should see this base appearing. This is the base Conda environment. This is just the default environment with no packages installed. You should generally not install any additional packages in the base environment, because if you do so, every time you create a new environment, it'll inherit all those versions from that. So we keep the base version as clean as possible. And then every time we need some Python packages, we create an environment, install stuff there, and always activate that environment when we want to work on the project. Environments are quite dispensable. Feel free to create as many environments as you want. I typically have one environment per project. Once a project is done, you can just delete the environment. Environments like Conda environments are just folders where you can install stuff, and they isolate different dependencies from each other. And it's generally a good practice to always install Python packages in fresh environments. So we'll use some Conda commands to install and configure our environment. On a course material, we have given these commands. I'm just going to copy these and paste it here and let it do its thing. This is creating an environment named portfolio, activating it, and then installing the required packages. The packages that we need are installed using pip. So first we install pip, and then we go ahead and use pip install to install those couple of packages that we need for mkdocs. This might take a few minutes depending on your internet speed and the kind of system you're using. Let it go through, and once it's done, you should see the prompt return with the portfolio environment activated. You can see my installation finished. As mentioned before, my portfolio environment is activated, and now in this environment, I have access to the mkdocs command. If I just type mkdocs, it should give me the help, and that means the command is installed and working correctly. So for the next step, we want to start the mkdocs server. This server will show us the preview of the website. So when we edit the content in this GitHub repository, mkdocs will go and rebuild the site, generate the HTML pages, and then we'll see a live preview of that. The command to start the server is on your course material. So this is the command. I'm just going to copy this and run this from here. You'll see some warning. You can ignore this for now. This is coming from the mkdocs for material theme. If you want to know more about it, you can read this blog article. It's about the future version of mkdocs. It doesn't affect you right now. You can just ignore this warning for now. If everything goes smoothly, you should see this message that the serving on this URL. Keep the terminal open, keep the server running. You should keep this running as long as you are working on a portfolio site and have this editor open. Once you're done for the day, you can go and close this. The next time you want to start working on a portfolio, you should do the same thing. Open a terminal, activate the environment. You don't have to install anything. You already installed it. So just activate the environment and run this command mkdocs serve library load, and then we'll start the preview server. Let's open this URL in a browser, and you can see a preview of the website here. And this is the template rendered as a website. So this is what the template looks like. You can see it just has the generic pictures and generic sentences. We're going to go and update all of this. And as soon as we update the content, if the server is running, you should be able to see your preview of a website right here. So keep this terminal open, keep it running. In the next section, we're now going to go and start editing the content here.